Thanks, Eklavya. I'm wondering, am I the same person that you spoke about, or somebody different? Okay, but thanks anyway. Couple of things before I share, really no preaching thing, just my pure, simple, straight experiences from last few years where I started my career in the army. And I definitely am really grateful to Government of India for giving me that opportunity, actually putting me through the grind of putting me through a commando course, where I was expected to walk 65 kilometers with a big pack on my back in 8 hours. I mean, it looked impossible. And then I was told, somebody talked about big picture, small picture, and the instructor said, don't worry about 65 kilometers, just worry about the next 2 kilometers, then next 2 kilometers, and 65 kilometers will happen. Don't worry about that. So that's a learning which we took, and we have applied. So when I was talking to Sarika, and we were talking about this issue called agility and strategy and stuff like that, I said, as a CEO, frankly, I do not have the comfort, or I do not have the possibility of using the big names unless I can really implement and execute. That's the key for me, because that's my own money that I'm burning, that's what I'm doing, and that's what I have to deliver to my people, my employees, my customers on a daily basis. But what taught me was that simply the agility is not about speaking, not about strategy. Agility is when you bring to the organization in terms of agile people, agile leaders, and agile business. If that's what happens, in a reverse way really speaking, everything will fall in place. The good part was that when we started the journey, we really looked at the nature, and we said that nature has really actually designed us to be agile. The fact that human beings are here and dinosaurs are not here, not that they did anything wrong, but the environment really pushed them to extinction. If dinosaurs were still there, we would not be sitting in this hall. They would have eaten us long time back, right? So the environment really pushes you, and if you have read Deepak Chopra, he actually says that the whole system will conspire for you to be successful or for you to be a failure. You can take credit and do whatever you want, but ultimately it's the whole universe conspires to do that. So we really believed in that, said that if the opportunity is going to be open to us, whether in IIoT or anything else that we do, the universe is conspiring us to do it. It would be wrong on our part not to take advantage of that. Also, when the environment challenged us, that is a small company, we couldn't be in the services business. Infosys would beat us when they started quoting $9 an hour for the work that we were doing. They would beat us any day. So that was a challenge. And we said, okay, no problems. That's a good thing. Because they're challenging us, they are actually making us think in a different direction. So it was good. So we thought that agile is really not an option. It is really ingrained into the way we work. Also, the good part is that if you're not agile, you will not be successful. If you're not agile, you will not survive. But that's not a negative. We always looked at that's a positive. And that's what put us. It's very important that when I talk about people and business and people, leaders, it was very important to have partners and co-founders who believe in you, believe in the model, who believe in what you do. And that agility really comes from the way you build the DNA of an organization. As a founder director, as a founder, where we have 3 other German team members as the co-founders, we really looked at that, how we built that into our DNA. The good part was that my wife and guide and severest critic of what I do is my business partner. But the good part is that because of the severe criticism of what we do to each other, we are always agile. There is no hiding. 24 hours we are together, so there is nothing hiding. That's what really puts us on our toes. And that's really not a negative. A lot of people ask us, is it husband-wife team, do you find it good? We always say that's great, because that's what brings to the table. So this whole idea about this agile business, agile leaders, and agile people is something that we have practiced. What it also has meant is that, okay, can you put it to the full screen mode? Sorry, okay, anyway, they'll take their time. So what really drove us to do was that we said that strategy and agility really will come later. What we really have to look at is that how are we passionate about what we do? Do we want to be successful? Are we passionate about the whole idea about becoming a solution provider to a problem? And then we looked at 3 major areas as to Where would our passion get translated into? We looked at what are the sectors that will really transform India from a third world economy to a first world economy. If that's our dream as an Indian, for our non-Indian friends, that's our dream, at least for me. We realized that IT sector is not going to do that transformation. Agriculture is not going to do that transformation. Our transformation will come when we create competitive jobs in manufacturing. So we picked up manufacturing as a focus sector where we really have to drive or build solutions where we'll deliver value to this company, which will make them globally competitive. So the first thing we did that we will be into digital transformation, but not in any other sectors, not in government business, not in agriculture, we would be in manufacturing. And the reason for that, very simple. Also, it was an environment that Pune, where I come from, is a manufacturing hub, automotive hub, discrete manufacturing. And we have tremendous IT talent available. So we married these two things together. We said, we'll build a IT solution for manufacturing. And that's what, before this IIoT term came into being, forget the term, this was what was needed then, this is what is needed now. The passion got converted into an opportunity, and kind of a market lived up to it. When we started talking about it, nobody listened to us. Nobody talked to us. We were the only, trying to evangelize about this whole idea. Today, in the last 4 years, suddenly everybody wants to invite me and make me talk about digital transformation in manufacturing. Big words. IT guys are to be blamed for this, because unless those are big words there, it's not sexy, as somebody said. So we built that passion, and we really have been trying, not very successfully sometimes, trying to transform our passion to our people, to our junior-most software engineer, to our product manager, to our execution engineers. I don't know how many of you have been exposed to industrial automation space. Because it's not, okay, 3 people, that's great. This is a world very different from the IT teams, from the IT environment, from the air-conditioned offices, where for a programmer to realize how a worker would interact with an HMI screen in the shop floor when lighting is not as great, it's very essential when he develops a UI or a UX for this. From that point onwards to how a business would use my tool to drive. Because today, the IIoT is being looked at not by manufacturing guys only, but the CFOs of the company are the owners of the IIoT project. Because for them, it's the business outcome that matters. So we have been trying to pass this passion that we built, and then opportunity presented to us, down to our teams. Sometimes successfully, as I said, sometimes not so successfully, but that's part of the game. What we also realized that it's good to have passion, it's good to be excited, it's good to be at it, but you definitely need to have a plan, you need to have a strategy about it. And thanks, Arvind, for mentioning that. The pivot that we did, when we did the first 2002 project in IIoT, this was a project. This we did for a German company for the European market, where we delivered the first few licenses. And then we suddenly realized we have no control as to how this product is going to be used. Is it going to be really useful? Are we always going to get second-hand feedback about the product's use and other things of it? And then we said that we have to be able to transform this from a project to a product, right? And that's what then started. However, it's very easy to talk about this passion. End of the day, nobody talked about constraint. 2 major constraints to agility, which are not in your environment, but outside. One is money. I don't know how many of Maharashtrians say here. In Marathi, we have a term saying, "Sagyaचं सोंग घेता येतं, पैशाचं सोंग घेता येत नाही." You can't pretend about money. So finance is a big, big constraint. That's a big stopper, big road bump in your agility journey. That's one. And secondly, time. Time is not always on your side. So we looked at this part, and then we said that to tame these 2 animals, money and time, rest of the thing, HR, talent, is something that we can control. We need to have a plan in place, right? So we developed a strategy. We pivoted from being a software services company, doing projects of any kind, for US customers, for German customers, for French customers, not so much for Indian customers, unluckily. From that, we pivoted to being a products company. And this was not just pivoting on technology side, this was a pivoting on cultural side. This was pivoting, it was a change from somebody telling us some requirements and we doing those, converting into code and delivering something. Here it was that we were the ones who were telling the requirements of an area where none of us had worked in manufacturing, build a product which delivers value, correct it when we make mistakes and things like that. So it was a cultural change. It was a transformation on the skills and the talent and everything. But it was a very major change because projects is a very safe business. I don't know, many of you come from project background probably. It's a billing, monthly billing, milestone-based billing, or whatever billing happens, and you're happy, your cash flow never gets impacted. Here, you're looking at a very different animal. You invest for 7, 8, 9 years for a product to come to the market, start selling licenses, right? And then the Indian mindset, they would spend crore rupees in building a, copper or optical fiber network. But when it comes to paying 1 lakh rupees for a software license, they said, why do you need money? Software hai, aapko to koi kaam nahi hai, you know? So that kind of a cultural thing, challenging it became. But we planned this as a strategy. We said, okay, this is what we want to do. These are challenges. There'll be a problem. There'll be shortfall of money. We all have pivoted from there and have kind of come out, not yet very successfully, but today, a lot of people are looking at us as a possible investment destination. A lot of big companies, including, I don't mind taking a name, called Cisco. So Cisco sells our product. I mean, that's a great satisfaction for me. A company like Cisco found our product to be credible and take it under joint branding and selling it across the, so we did something right? So the strategy worked. The strategy has worked of building the ecosystem, evangelizing, and then of course, the environment and destiny has conspired us to become successful. So that's a good part. Finally, we realized that in spite of having the passion and strategy, we are not going to be able to do everything that we planned. So we were doing industrial manufacturing product, and suddenly we realized that this is going to take a little more time till we build traction, till the really money starts flowing in. And we were presented with an opportunity to build a product in the environmental monitoring space. Because the regulatory systems in India, we were one of the first ones in the world, by the way, to use a digital platform to enforce environmental pollution monitoring on the industrial scale. I mean, many of you won't know probably, and Government of India did some really great work, and we are happy to be part of the journey as the technical advisors to CPCB at that point of time. So we pivoted, not really pivoted, we built an additional version of a product, and today we are the largest third-party software for pollution monitoring, with implementation not just in India, but Saudi Arabia, Qatar, South Korea, etc., except United States and Europe, because there the regulatory mechanisms work differently. So we have been agile, not from the threat perspective, not from the challenging perspective. We have been agile from identifying and taking advantage of the opportunity that gets presented. What I see today in India, again, the foreign guests, please close your ears. In India, we become a little cynical. If you open the newspaper today, you have so much of negativity in the news, everything that gets reported. So many great things are happening in the ground. Nobody talks about it. The election year here in Telangana, I don't know, people from Hyderabad would probably vouch for it. It's really bad. What I'm saying is that if enough people really think about these things in their personal life, in their business life, in their social life, I think we will be a great world to live in. So Agile is not about just business, not just about strategy, not just about money, but Agile is being everything. So as far as our journey through this transformation that happened, we started as a small services company. We pivoted to a product company, but product for somebody else. We pivoted from there for product for manufacturing, which we couldn't sell. We pivoted from there a product that sold. We didn't think about it. Somebody came and forced us to do that. Tata Honeywell actually came to our door saying that you are the guys who can do this product for us. Can you do it? We're saying, no, we don't know this. And they said, don't worry, we will teach you how to do it. They forced us to go that way, and today we are the largest software product in India. So thanks to Tata Honeywell. So we have taken advantage of those opportunities. We have pivoted. We have learned. We have adopted, right? And the journey continues. The time constraint, which is also here on the ticker, but also I'm not going to be there all the time. So we need to create the next level of leadership. We need to create a scalable organization. So the first question one of the global partners asked, do I bring you projects in plastics across the globe, or do I bring you projects in Southeast Asia in any sector? Very difficult question to answer. Because if you don't have answer to either of these questions, I'm not your partner, because I always look at scale. When Cisco made partner, he said, I'm going to get your project from China. You have to be able to scale to deliver that. That scares me. Because today we are not that kind of a scalability built into the organization. So we need to be agile. An opportunity is presented to us. We need to take advantage of that. As I said, the journey continues, and hopefully we come out with in better colors. As I said, time is not going to be on our side all the time. money is going to be constrained, people are going to be constrained, talent is going to be constrained for us in the industrial manufacturing. So we stopped calling ourselves a software company a few years back. Because if I went to a manufacturing client wearing a jacket, he doesn't hear me. So when I go to a manufacturing client, I wear a t-shirt with logo of my company, that's fire. But he says, people who sit in air-conditioned cabins are not welcome on the shop floor. You guys don't understand anything. Because the budgets in manufacturing companies have moved from IT departments to LOBs. I mean, what Bala spoke about. So IT departments are sometimes willingly, like in case of Bala, making themselves irrelevant. In some cases, they are saying that, no, we want to remain relevant, so we'll still keep playing that role. You know? So that transformation is happening. So we have pivoted from being a software company to a manufacturing solutions company. We have pivoted from, so we realized that we were doing a lot of consulting and evangelizing and teaching and educating and building, etc. We transformed that opportunity, and today we conduct industrial IoT trainings for companies like Thermax and Bharat Forge and NTPC and Mahindra, and we make money out of that. So what I used to give free, I monetize that. And also this is a good marketing tool for me because I go there as a teacher, and in India, people still have respect for teacher, and the same guys who are participants say, okay, I have a project, why don't you come and meet me? That's fantastic, right? So they pay for my marketing. Wow, nothing can be better than that. So these kinds of things we have been doing, we'll keep doing that, hopefully do that. I forgot to switch my slides, that's agility. Sorry. Okay, so these are some of these stepping stones that we use. I'm not going to spend time on that. But what was very important is that we kind of looked at these as small components within each of these things. So this is what we did in terms of passion. This is what we did in terms of strategy. Because simply was, the most important was that we wanted to build ecosystem and outside help. Today, I talk about a product, it becomes difficult for me to sell. If my partners and consultants and evangelists just talk about it, it becomes easy for me to sell. So I converted that. So I've taken advantage of that. And there are a lot of tactical components, like I talked to you about this, the move from one product to the other product and things like that. And then finally, the agility stones that we have tried to build on. Very important part is the teams and resources and the risk management. Governance that Bala spoke about, I think is the most relevant part. Because without governance, blindly getting into it is good for a rock musician, for a jazz musician, but not for an Indian classical musician. He needs to have that framework of governance of a raga. He can innovate within that framework. It's phenomenal, but that framework of raga is very important for a business. I always use that as an example, right? So that governance is very important, strategy is very important, and then of course, agility is what comes in. So with 1 minute and 51 minutes still on the clock, 51 seconds, I would stop here, and we'll be happy to share my thoughts with anybody who's interested. Thank you.
Thank you for that, Arvind.